Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming. Let's start the meeting by standing and giving the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, to start the meeting, could we have roll call, please?
Eric Kropp,
Here.
David Reed,
Here.
Kathy Wall,
Here.
Katie McCarty.
Here.
And
Ron is on vacation. Okay, our first order of business tonight is to approve the minutes of the meeting from April 3rd, 2024. Do I hear a motion to approve those?
I give a motion to approve the meetings, the
Awesome.
minutes from April 3rd to 24th.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. Any further discussion on those minutes? All in favor of approving those minutes from April 3rd, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Ayes carry, so the minutes are approved. Our next order of business is old business, and we don't have any, but we do have new business. And our new business is the special exemption petition, the property located at 121 East Main Street by K&K Party. Is there a representative from K&K? Hi, ladies. Would you care to kind of bring us up to date on where you are? I want to say you did a good job with the petition. It's filled out most all I's and T's. There's a couple of questions we have, but if you wouldn't mind bringing everybody up to date.
Sure.
On where
I
that
will
is.
do a very brief introduction. My name is Sylvia Miller. I'm an attorney. I represent Brittany and K&K. They purchased this building, and their intent is to run it as a very small party center for kids, so that we can do that in Newtown instead of going to Greenfield or Carmel or somewhere else. There are several individuals here who have hired their services to come to their home and have the parties at their home, but they would like to speak on behalf of having this. There are just a few things I wanted to address before Brittany speaks. The first one is this is a special exception. It's not a variance. So it doesn't go with the land, it goes with the app. So if Brittany were to sell the building or stop using the building for this use, the special exception would cease. It doesn't transfer. The other thing is the fire marshal is finalizing their count for how many people are allowed to be in the building. They have a very up-to-date sprinkler system, so they're going to go with the max possible 60 people. If the fire marshal says 58, they'll lower it to 58. If they say 55, they'll lower it to 55. They own the parking spots all the way around the building. They shared the parking lot with the pub in the back, and there's also parking out here, so parking should not be an issue. All events would end at 8 p.m. on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sunday. No live music, no alcohol, none of that. This is a kid-friendly environment. Some other uses that are permitted in this zoning district would be like a club or lodge, a dance academy, a toy store. These are all things that would invite children to be part of the activity. They're doing the same thing. This is very specialized niche type of business. We just wanted to get that in front of you, and I'll let Brittany give her presentation.
I wrote this down that way I wouldn't get off topic, but first of all, I just want to thank you guys all for showing up and allowing us to say what we have to say and just hearing us out. My name is Brittany Shuffler. I'm the owner of KK Party Co. And this is my husband, Matt. He is the muscle behind the business. We've been running, usually the days that you'll see at deliveries, but we've been running this business as a mobile business where we set up in people's backyards, their venues, their houses, whatever the case is, for the last 2 years. And we've had a lot of success with that. Not only have we doubled our sales in the last year to 6 figures, but we've also been able to work with some really incredible people. We've worked with Pat McAfee, Michael Pittman Jr., Ryan Kelly, Obi Toppin, the Pacers president. This weekend, one of our clients is actually on MTV, and MTV is going to be filming our setup to air it on one of their episodes. So we've had some really cool opportunities with this business, and we are really excited to see what happens in the next year or so. I know that you guys are here for the main details of like how we're going to run it and everything. So we are here today to discuss our plans with our building, 121 East Main Street. We purchased the property back in December after we outgrew 7 storage units, our 3-car garage, and our spare bedroom. We still had inventory coming in, and we were like, we have to get somewhere else. So we bought the building, and we quickly realized that there was a ton of potential with the building. We made a post on social media just saying that we were so excited to finally have a space that everything was together in one place and that we could really grow and expand our business. And we were quickly met with tons of comments congratulating us, saying how New Pal needed something like this for little kids, and also asking us to book the venue. And so after discussing the possibility of renting it out, we started renovations. We started the renovations in early January, and we finished just before like the first week of February, and it was just before our son's 4th birthday party. So after we had just spent almost $3,000 on our daughter's venue, we were like, we are not trying to spend that kind of money on a venue when we just have this building. So we did host our son's 4th birthday party there. It was a small, intimate event with just our friends and family. And I want to just go ahead and address that we have not held any other events at the building. Since our son's birthday party, we knew that one of the issues previously was that they were hosting events there without any sort of permits or anything like that. So we really wanted to make sure that we were doing things the correct way. And so that's when we reached out to Jim Robinson to start the process of trying to get the space approved to be able to host small events. Nepal lacks spaces to hold small intimate events, which is why we have geared our focus towards hosting or having a space where it would be 60 people or less. Our goal with the building was to make it clean, bright, and modern to allow for endless possibilities. So no matter who was coming in, they could decorate it however they wanted, and it would look nice. I know that you guys are all here, like I said, to understand what our plans are with the building, how it's going to operate, and things like that. So I want to dive into that. First and foremost, we are willing to put these stipulations into writing in order to get the exception approved. Those stipulations include having no more than 60 people. Like she said, if the fire marshal says that we can only have 57, then we'll go with 57. Whatever the fire marshal says trumps what we have here. We will not be allowing live music or bands. Events will be over by 8 p.m. on weekends. We have 3 small kids. We have a 2-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 3-month-old. They have early bedtimes. We're not trying to be out all night, and we can understand from a parent's point of view that, you know, we don't want people, or we wouldn't want people out at all hours of the night when we're trying to get our kids to bed. So we're okay with having an 8 p.m. cutoff time. And also, we will have staff on site for the duration of the event. So the staff member will be walking around to make sure there's no kids going outside. They will be making sure that all of the rules are being followed, that no one is messing with our neighbors' yards, that no one's, bringing in anything that they shouldn't be bringing in. They will also be picking up trash, directing parking, so making sure that no one is parking where they shouldn't be, and directing traffic to overflow if it's needed. So we will have staff on site. I just wanted to quickly talk about our hours because Monday through Thursday we do have a little bit of different hours. We are asking to go till 9 p.m. just to accommodate corporate events because typically people get out of work 5, 6 o'clock and the events don't start or the meetings don't start until 4. So in that case, we would ask that it would go till 9 o'clock just to be able to accommodate those. But again, if we need to have 8 p.m. cutoff time, then we'll just have to adjust to that. We understand that parking is the $1 million question tonight, and so I would like to discuss that next. We currently have 4 spots dedicated in the back of our building, so you can see it in this picture here. These are the 4 spots that I'm referring to, and then we also have 6 spots that we share with the pub parking lot, which are these spots right here. I know that that's very confusing because obviously it looks like it's the pubs. However, when we purchased the building, we purchased those spots with the building, which Sylvia can kind of dive more into if we need to later, but we do have those spots. And then we have 9 to 10 additional spots on the side of our building. And we have overflow available public parking at Town Hall and also other places around. I do want to make note that, again, we primarily deal with families. So the families are not coming in like 1, 2 people in their cars. We're talking about families of, 5, 6 people coming in one carload. So we don't need as many parking spots to accommodate these big groups of families. Just really quick, I want to touch on safety. Again, we have 3 small children, so we fully understand the importance of safety. We would have never bought the building if we thought that it was unsafe, given the fact that our kids are with us every single day at the building. But we do plan on keeping our garage doors closed at all times. So all of our events will be held inside the building. All of our equipment will be set up inside the building, our bounce houses, our soft play, which is what you see here. Everything will be set up on the inside. So kids won't be running around on the streets or running around outside. We do plan on, like I said, keeping the garage doors closed. Unless the client asks us otherwise. And then in that situation, we have safety gates that we would put in front of the garage doors to block as sort of like a barricade so that the kids can't go out. Our venue is not a drop and go type of situation. So parents will stay on site with their kids for the duration of the event. And again, we'll have a staff member on site. Ultimately, it's up to the parent, or it's the parent's responsibility to keep their eyes on their kids and make sure that they know where their kids are at all times. But with us having a staff member on site, we will have an extra set of eyes on the kids at all times. Not only is our space super convenient for the residents of the town, but it would also provide a central location, reducing the need for extensive travel. Being in the industry for the last 2 years, we have seen firsthand the need for places to host parties. We have so many clients that reach out to us asking for recommendations on places to host their events, and we have to refer them to places that are outside of the Hancock County, New Palestine area, which you're talking about a 30-minute travel, and that's just not really, it doesn't work. Our goal is not only to host small parties, such as birthday parties, bridal showers, and baby showers, but to also foster a community. We would love to host theme parties with the kids in the community, such as cookies with Santa, Easter egg hunts with the Easter Bunny, tea with princesses, or pizza with superheroes, things like that. And we would also love to be able to open up for people, for stay-at-home moms and people who maybe work from home, who just need to get out and socialize while their kids are playing. As a stay-at-home mom myself, I know how lonely it can get, and I also know how daunting it is to have to load your kids up, get them in the car, drive 30 minutes to a play place, and then have to deal with them being tired or hungry, and then you just wasted the whole trip because they don't want to play at the end of the day. So being able to have something like this in the backyard is so important for the community, and I think that it would just be very beneficial for the community. And finally, in conclusion, we would greatly appreciate you considering allowing us to host small events such as children's parties, adult birthdays, bridal showers, baby showers, graduation parties, and other like events. Our goal is not to bring a large, obnoxious, drunk crowds. We simply want to create a space that our community can utilize to gather with friends and family to celebrate the milestones in their lives. We are not random investors, but 20-plus year community members who want to be a part of New Palestine's growth. Should you have any further questions, I'm happy to provide you with answers, and I invite you to see the building for yourselves, just to see what we have accomplished. And
Thank you. I do have some questions. Sylvia was kind enough to answer the first one, which was capacity. So if it were to get approved, it would certainly be on a condition that the fire marshal determines what your capacity could be. And I think the second thing that you have going for you is that to answer is parking. And the reason I say that is because you have 6, 4, and 9 or 10, you said, in there. And you figure there's 4 spots per parking place. So you're okay there until you have a wedding. And then there might be a problem with that. And then the other thing to think about is that we have to do everything as it relates. Our decision-making goes with the comprehensive plan, and everyone needs to know this, as it relates to the town council. That's our obligation. And I'm going to also educate you on the 5 questions we're allowed to ask, okay? It's not whether our heart feels anything on this. There's 5 questions that the BZA is allowed to ask in the state of Indiana and get an answer, right? Sylvia, she knows that. Ted knows that. We get good guidance. So based on the comprehensive plan, we know that the town is wanting to build a town center, which means they will sell this location, which means you might not get parking any longer. So what would your plan be to counter that if you lose the parking here?
So I first want to address the wedding question. I don't think you're planning to hold wedding receptions at all. So it would be
Oh, I thought that's what she just
a
said.
bridal shower
Okay.
or, a dinner.
Okay.
For people to come in and do exchange gifts, not weddings, no receptions, anything like that. So 4 people per parking spot. So they have parking available for 40 people. Okay.
Well,
based
you
on
have-
their-
You have parking available for almost 80 if you've got the 9 or 10
Right.
and the 6 and 4,
Right.
right?
yeah, we also plan on relining the lot because there's some things that we need to fix, which when we reline it, it would give us an additional 1 to 3 spots depending on when they come in and reline it. So we have the potential of gaining an additional 1 to 3 spots when we do that.
Okay.
So I forgot to throw that.
All good. And really, as I say, we don't, it's not so much parking as much as it's just how does it affect the community, but as we answer these questions, but
So I think, people who rent the space are aware of what the surrounding area is. They're not going to rent the space blind. So that's going to be taken into account when they do sign a contract for having the event at the venue.
fair enough.
Right.
Yeah.
And all of these things that we're discussing, I know that Jim and I talked a little bit before the meeting, whatever commitments you come up with, of course, we're going to put those in writing. They'll be attached to the special exception. This isn't just rhetoric at a meeting. It's all going to be put in writing and
Yes.
attached to the special exception. I just want to make that clear.
Are the 6 spots that are shared with the pub, is that something in writing?
It is. It was part of their purchase agreement for the property. So you can look at the maps that I provided with the application. They showed those 6 spots. Those were an additional purchase that they made with the purchase of the building. The spots belong to them.
Okay, thank you.
Those were mine. I'd reached out, as you know, and that was really my conditional issues that I thought would go with something like this,
We have some folks here to speak on their behalf. Is it okay if they come up?
They can. I would like, before everyone does, so that you understand what the obligation of the BZA is, okay? So we're not here to decide if we like a business or we don't like a business or anything else, okay? It's really, we get 5 questions as the state of Indiana helps do it, and I'm going to kind of educate you on that, so as you come up and talk, it'll help you understand how and why we make a decision the way we make the decision, okay? So the first one is, the approval will not be injurious to the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community. So if you've got kids there and you're doing something, we have to answer, is that going to injure the community and so forth? So we look at that. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property with the variance will not be affected in an adverse manner. The need for the variance arises from some condition peculiar to the property involved. Consider whether it's a unique problem, the site makes it unable to meet the ordinance, that kind of thing. 4 is the application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will constitute an unnecessary hardship if applied to the property. So does that degrade the property or anything that they're doing? And the last one is the approval doesn't interfere substantially with the comprehensive plan from our bosses, the town council. That's really what we look at, so that you know it. So our hearts don't go in it the same way. We try to keep focused on those issues, okay?
And to piggyback on that, there are a couple of those questions that are specific to variances. So for the special exception, for example, the question is, are adequate utilities, access roads, drainage, and other necessary facilities being provided? So that's one for the special exception, right? Adequate measures have been or will be taken to provide ingress and egress to designate, to minimize traffic congestion on public streets. And like she said, there would be somebody there to direct the traffic, parking. And the establishment of this special exception will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted to the district. And I think that differs a little bit from the variance questions, because this is not a change that goes with the land. So it's not something that's going to impact the value of the surrounding properties in a long-term manner, right? But, that's all I wanted to address.
Yeah, she's correct. They're a little different from the variance findings of fact.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
it's a little different. And
two more questions then,
Sure.
sorry. And I look at it as a use variance. That's really kind of how we're doing this, correct?
A special exception is a type of use variance.
Yes.
yeah.
I had received a message about I could be on board from one of the members about the 9 p.m., but the 9 p.m. isn't in your application.
So that was a change that she just made between the filing of the application and today. So that was, that's one of the things. If the board would prefer 8 p.m., they're willing to.
Well, I don't think we prefer. I'm just the guy that wanted it to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I know
So-
you did. I'm sorry.
So-
1, 2, 3. The other request for a variance is that question about, is there some sort of hindrance to developing the property it makes it impossible for them to use it. I think that for the special exception in a B1 in Utah, the issue is that because it's such a niche business, there is no specific use that's listed to accommodate what they do.
Well, let me ask you, that's my last question, is you talk about a lot about children going to be there. So is part of it, I try to look at where we are and what we have for approvals and so forth there. And there's approvals already for child development and things like that. Would that not, are you doing any of that? And in any of your programs, is that a child development situation?
No, I think that goes, when you're looking at the child development, I think that speaks to the special exception for daycare centers that is permitted by right in B1. And this isn't a daycare center. This isn't a place where people go drop off their kids and leave. This is just, I want my daughter's graduating from high school in 2026. I want to have 20 people over there to have a graduation party for her. That's what I would do. And my understanding is a lot of people in the community had used that space for graduation parties and other things prior to it going a different direction before my clients purchased it. So
And I agree with you, Sylvia,
Yeah.
but you're saying, I understand it. I looked at it as and or.
Yeah.
You're looking at it as and. That's fine. So,
yeah, I think
so
it's
I think
more-
we're,
Yeah, it's more of just small events, family and friends gathering, bringing income into New Pal as opposed to, taking it to places that don't need the income.
Yep.
We're the fastest growing county in the state of Indiana. Mr. Niemeyer and I just had a conversation about our shrinking bar of legal practitioners here. We're all very busy, and having a place like this would offer options that don't exist in our area right now.
Awesome. Thank you all very much. Nice job.
So, actually, you want to go first?
Yeah, now we would say that we will open it to the public, and if you have something to say, 3 minutes, yes, sir?
Dave, before we get onto that, I need to recuse myself from this a bit because we have become pretty good friends with them. I mean, they are our neighbors. We've been very helpful with them. They've been helpful with us doing things. And our daughter does have a job there. She is one of the attendants. So I just want to make sure that that's all noted. And I will just sit here
Thank
and
you.
listen, and you guys,
Thank you.
Thank you.
okay?
Fair enough.
Yes, sir.
He's going to do that, and we absolutely respect it, but I think as we go forward, if everyone understands we're staying focused on 5 questions, that's really it. And so that's going to make it a little tougher tonight because Ron's on vacation, even though Ron sent me an email that how he feels about it. So we'll go forward with it, but when I look at it, I need you to know if you were my next door neighbor, I still only care about these 5 questions that are on here. So, but we'll go forward. So with that, we'll open it up to the public. Please, if you have something to say, we welcome it. If when you come to the podium, if you'll give your name and address, it helps us. And then please try to limit it to 3 minutes, but we welcome your opinion.
Yeah, the ordinance specifies that those speaking in favor should go first, and then once they're done,
Oh,
then you
thanks.
give the opportunity for those opposing to speak, and then after that, we'll give the applicant another chance to rebut.
Thanks, Ted.
Yeah.
So are you a 4? Okay.
Oh, I better sit back. Hi, my name is Ashley Marks. It's Marks, and I'm at 6062 West Richmond Drive here in New Palestine. So keeping your questions in mind, and I'll keep this very short. So I did use their company very recently, and I think one thing that's important to know about working with them was, one, the expectations for both sides were extremely clear. Not only did I know what they were going to be providing, but I knew on our end, especially when it comes to safety, what was going to be required as well. So the contract was laid out very clearly. And as Sylvia has touched on too, I've been out here about a decade. I've been all in on New Pal. I have a young son, and we have had to host parties every year, either in Greenfield or up north. So I really would welcome the chance for something else in our community. So not only do I think we have had our party here, but that probably would have transitioned into, we went and ate at a restaurant before, and we went to Frosty Boy afterwards. So I only see this as being a benefit for our community, but thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you.
This is forward, man. Still forward.
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Hart Summeyer, Summeier. I'm at 4090 North 300 East. I own a couple businesses here in town, including one of them as a real estate brokerage. And I am probably the least liked guy here for the opposition because I'm the one that sold them the building. I've known, please still hire me. I've known Brittany for a very long time now. I've had the luxury of knowing her for a couple years now. I've done several deals with their family. They're very business focused, very savvy, and ask a lot of the questions that you wouldn't normally expect somebody to ask, which is far different from knowing Brittany at 5 and 6 years old when she was a little brat. And to see where she was and have watched her grown up into asking these questions in the development of this business and her passion for this business has really said something to me. And for what it's worth, I'm hoping to convey that to you. When they bought the business for the building, it was a wreck. Vegetation was overgrown. There's a couple broke down trucks in the back that we were having to deliberate if we get them towed or not because we weren't sure we were going to be able to get them out of there. Now they've made it a beautiful part of this community. Really have. The building's awesome inside. Some of the ideas they've taken from me, I feel great about, but otherwise, Matt's done a great job in there making it look awesome. When we first talked about this, they were going to go to Pendleton or Fortville. and I encourage them really to focus on New Pal. This is the second business I've brought to New Pal. The last one being NB Massage Spa beside Subway, which was just received 3 Best of Hancock County. I really think they're on the right track to do that. So for what it's worth, I fully support BZA. I appreciate you guys being here tonight, but I think not giving them the special exception would be a huge loss for them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sure.
Stacia Clark, 6099 West Richmond Lane. I had the opportunity to have them help me with the event with my daughter, and I had a raised garage door. And if you read through all of her fine print, which is a lot when you agree to do a party with her, safety is very important. So when they were coming and Matt was helping me set up a 2-story slide, he was like, where the ball is going to be. They have a sign right there for the kids, and they're like, are they going to go out here? How is that going to be? And it was up to me as the parent to know that. They're like, we can provide dates. We can do all this. We want to make sure, first and foremost, the kids have fun, but that the kids are safe. So at the end of it, when they come and clean up, like, hey, how'd it go? And all that. But they make sure that I understood what I was getting into with their legalities and all that. I mean, it was an extensive list. And I've done and hosted parties many, many times. And their forms, I guess, their legal is one of the best that I've seen for a business who's just started out. And I think that's why she's boomed to have people like the Pacers, the Colts, MTV, because these are people who are going to have the lawyers behind them if Brittany doesn't do that. So I feel like the safety is a very important factor in New Pal, and along with the building, I agree with the realtor. I've driven by there, and before I've gone to the pub, it was an eyesore. And look what they've done in just a short amount of time, not even coming up on a year. And like the first lady said, going after an event just brings more money into New Pal with dinners and Subway or kids playing. And hey, I want to go have my party there. And I do live down the street from them, and the hard work that they put into it and hiring an attorney and a lawyer, I feel like she's taken it very seriously. So that's what I
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak? Yes, ma'am.
I am Deborah Carnes, Carnes, and I am just down the road from this facility. And I think I just want to parrot what some of the other people have said and just kind of emphasize on the fact that it's an exception, not the variance, and it goes with the applicant, not the building per se. So I think it's important. And as far as being a semi-close neighbor, I have no objection, and I fully support them.
Thank you very much.
Tammy Adams, 124 East Main. I think, did I understand that you also were talking about having corporate events, like corporate meetings? I think that kind of got lost in the whole thing, because that's huge, in my opinion, to have a place for, local realtors or any local businesses that don't have to go outside of Hancock or even New Pal to have their corporate events and to have their meetings. And that's a plus. I didn't even know that was an option, so that's great. And I've used them before. They're so professional. Safety is a big deal. And we've always needed a place like this. We want to bring things into New Pal, not go outside of it and spend our money. We want to spend it in New Pal to help this place grow, and it has grown, but just to continue to grow. And I support it.
Thank you very much.
Dawn Miller, 6918 West Colonial Drive. It's kind of hard to top what everyone else has already said, but I'm a hairstylist in Greenfield, and I know that that's kind of like outside of the picture, but I say that because me and some of the stylists that are in the Hancock County borders, we're trying to find a place to host an event that would be like a non-for-profit, basically, to help girls that need to be taught how to take care of themselves properly with proper hygiene and getting free haircuts and those kinds of events. And I know Brittany and Matt's heart, and I know that their space would be a great place for people that live not far from us, Cumberland, Indianapolis areas, those kinds of girls and boys even, they need those kinds of events to be held that are bringing them in closer to good people and to people that have good intentions. And so I just think that this is a great opportunity for those kinds of things, and it's a safe location with all of the things that they've done and put into place to try and make sure,
with an attorney and making sure that, you know, with the gates, if the garage doors are open, making sure that there's a staff member there for kids that are crossing streets to be able to watch them and all of that. I feel like a lot of those questions that you guys are going to be asked, those 5 questions, they're answered pretty easily. And so I have been a community member here since I was in kindergarten, I guess. And so that is a really, really long time, and I'm in full support of this business and of Matt and KK Party Co. and Brittany.
Awesome, thank you.
Steve Rainey, 127 East Main Street. I guess I'm on the other side now, so we can come from the guest. I'm asking zoning board not to approve it. And I would start off, just to make sure I understand on the variance. So what they're asking here for is a special exception, which to the current variance, it doesn't change the variance. So if they decide to sell the property, then the new owner would have this clean slate to do whatever they want with the fence and.
No,
Is that correct?
no,
Okay.
no.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
I do have a petition here signed by several of our community members who are located within the surrounding area where they would have received the letter, the certified letter that this zoning board, this petition is being submitted. And so I'd like to show that we have toured the community and asked them for their thoughts, and they are same situation, are asking for not to approve the zoning change. Some of it is safety, as I mentioned before. There's no fencing or railing around the business there. It's in 52. Obviously, that's a very short distance. When we look at just a couple children, yeah, it's easier to control. Now, if you're looking at a birthday party for children, maybe it's a classroom, so you got 20 kids there. All of a sudden, that's different, 20 kids versus 3 or 6 kids. So kids are going to explore. Again, just that opportunity there from the safety side. Also, on the parking spaces, it sounds like they have enough. But if they had an employee in one of them, the RV that sits there, it's been sitting there for a while, that's at least 2. You have a couple trailers. Again, probably 1 to 2 spots for each trailer. So I think that number comes down a little bit. But also on the east side, on Elm Street, where they're parking on the side, they said, I think in the petition it was 6, now they updated it to 9 or 10. But those would be very small or very narrow. If you get a large vehicle, like a Tahoe or a big truck with a trailer hitch going down Elm Street, there's would be real dangerous. Safety issue there. I did also notice in the petition, it did talk about children's parties, but then it's also in the petition, back to talks about children and adult parties, graduations, showers, reunions. We talk about corporate events. When you look at the corporate events, or you take away the family parties, for children, yeah, they're carpool there. But when you get to the other ones, corporate events, showers, graduation, there's going to be a lot more non-family coming together. So you're not going to have the 3 or 4 person per car. It's going to be more 1 to 2 and more likely on the one side. And the other thing is, I just want to is, this side of town here has been residential. This has worked in years. Really didn't open the door to allow changes to that from a business side expansion, because we want to keep it residential. As visitors come into New Pal from the east side, the first thing they see is these row of homes up here, and they're nice, they're beautiful. Don't want to start eroding that into something else. So, again, thank you for your time.
My name is Mike Evans. I live at 131 East Main Street. I want to applaud you for your business, doing good. Happy for it. My understanding, when you first went in there, you guys said you have custom parties and other people's houses and stuff like that. Now we're here saying you guys want to do it in there. I'm opposed to that. The attorney said, well, they used to have red parties a long time ago. Yes, that person who owned it did. It was shut down because he was doing it illegally, so it didn't happen. Okay? I don't agree. If you want to do your business and have it other people's houses and stuff, I'm okay with that. That's what it's for. I live right there. I don't want anything else going on there. If I did, I would approve it last week. I just, to me, it's not right. But if I sit here and I tell them that I'm opposed to it, I think your parking's gonna be a problem. I don't think you're gonna be able to control the spots you bought, because if that pub is busy, they're gonna park there, and I guarantee you, they're not gonna move just because you walk up or told them to move. Okay? Unless you got signs up saying you'll be towed, you're gonna call the police to tow those vehicles. Not gonna happen. Okay? Said, business does well. It seems like now, this is all a new point, because board says they're only gonna go by those 5 questions, so does it really matter what we say? No, it doesn't matter at all, because they're gonna do what they think is right. Personally, they should deny it, because it's gonna become a problem. Give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile. Been down this road before. And I'm not saying you would do anything bad. Sounds like me, you're doing everything right. If you want both parties, do it. Don't do it there. You're not where I live right there. So I hope and wish you luck, and I'm sure they're gonna make the right decision there. So thank you very much, y'all have to.
You have a good one too.
Oh, by the way, watch your back. Better stay in mind.
Oh, dear God. So,
Hi, my
Yes,
name
ma'am.
is Donna Hammond. I live at 120 East Main Street, and it's a very, I'm sorry. Oh, well, yeah. No, but it's very nice to meet you two. I live exactly across the street from you. I've never met you in my life. I have looked over there. I wanted to meet you. I do not have children. I have plenty in my family, so children is everything to me. My next door neighbors, I love them. I like the new ones. I give them popsicles. They come in and out my house. That one that's not involved, I love his child. So don't think that I'm against children. The only reason I have lived in my home exactly straight across, and I have lived there 38 years. And this is my husband, Greg. He's lived in New Palestine for 50 years. He graduated from New Palestine, and we love it. But our house is about the third house or the fifth that was ever built in New Palestine. It was built 1900. 38 years ago, it had no siding, no windows, no nothing. We bought it for a reason. He lived here. I moved here from Kentucky, fell in love with New Palestine, lived on the north side and moved here. Why did I move here? It was a small city, it was a small town, and we need restaurants. If you were going to the other end of the town, the other end, I would say, go for it, go for it. We need what you all are opening. But to go inside of a residential place that, unfortunately, mine's all about safety. I live exactly on a way, and I don't mean this bad against you, I don't know you, but I live there. I see it every day. It says, do not enter. You all turn every day about 10 to 15 times, or whatever it is, in the way that says, do not enter. Cars that almost hit the back end of those trailers. You know, and I've seen that, and I think, oh God, we're going to have a wreck, you know. And so safety, you should not pull in. If you're going to go against the rules, it says do not enter now. It's a one-way street. The next thing is when they come out of the window from the pub, so I'm not a bad person, but when they come in from even the pub, I love the pub, I eat there all the time, love it. But when they come even from the pub, they're coming out, right? They're turning. Half the people, I don't mean this bad either, if they're drunk or not drunk, who cares? None of my business. But they jumped that curve, and the city, not you all, the state, has took our property twice. Our fence has been moved, and who wants their little what? $900 or $1,000. I'd rather pay them not to take my yard. So they have taken our fence, our yard, and I thought that's the way life is. I love New Palestine. So we have stayed. But anybody jumps that curve, they're coming right in my living room door. The lights come out, the lights come right in. But I choose to live there. The last 6 months, I'm not gonna lie, we have looked at over, you said 100 houses. We have looked to move. And it's a crime. I cry every day. I don't want to move, but even neighbors know I want to move, only because it is not safe anymore. There is too much. You take this little spot. We have a Why Not. We have a pub. We have now their business. We have, see, you got this and residential people that moved there like me, not for an investment. If I wanted an investment, I'm in 90 stores. I've worked for a company, you know, and I would have went out and bought a place for that. But for my home, I don't know if you all, everybody I've heard talk up here, they don't live there. They live somewhere else. I live here. That's my home. It's not my residence. It's not for me, for my investment. If I want an investment, I go down there next to Starbucks and I would buy it. Or I go to somewhere else. So that's all I got to say. It's nothing against you all, but you've got to live there, wherever you live, to know if that's what you want for safety. Because it just scares me. Safety.
So are you open for a question?
Oh, yeah, I'm open.
Okay, so I heard the last gentleman talk, and he talked about how they would have too many people and so forth and so on, and you're talking about the people that come from the pub and they hit your yard or whatever, and you've had to give up space. So are you against this, what they're trying to do with the party thing?
No.
Or are you against the pub because you live next to a pub?
Okay.
So,
I'm against anyone, not them, anybody, any business, anyone that would put another business down there on that side of town.
okay.
This is New Palestine. I mean, Frosty Boy, eat there every day. Same difference. If y'all had not put that third lane, which we gave up, which thank God we got the third lane, you go to Frosty Boy, and it's like a wreck almost constantly because everybody's parked in the middle lane, parked in the road, or that Mexican place, I'd be dying because they're always using their parking. No, it's not them. It's anybody that will go past Bittner on down. It's a residential. There's not places for businesses. I'm zoned for business. I had a little shop called the Curiosity Shop in 1981 before I went on the road to work.
Your home is in a business
Today.
zone.
Yes, my
I know.
home is in a business zone. I chose not to open that. And I opened it and I chose, look, you gotta have parking.
I understand what you're saying, but your home's in a business zone.
Yes, my home is.
Yep.
Yes, it is. My
Okay.
home is zoned for business. It was called the Curiosity Shop. You all approved it. It was open, all that. It is not parking. There is no parking. That's me. But whatever, if you all get it, I wish you well. I'll say hi to you. I'll speak to you and I'll be happy. I really will. But please, if you get it, you've got to do something about the people coming in and out. I mean, if you got 60 more cars down there and this little bitty spot coming in and out, I think I will just lose it. I think what would kids do? What will people? And do not pull in or do not enter. It's
That has to be addressed, Jesse. Yeah, that's another issue that needs to be addressed with people going the wrong way.
This is zoned for business.
Yes,
I mean, this isn't
it
a
is.
rezoning, this isn't a variance. It is already zoned for a business.
Just like their house.
Just like
my house is. Mine is zoned for business.
I understand. So this isn't, they're not asking the town to allow them to have a business there. It's already zoned for that. They're just asking for them to allow them to have this very specialized niche business. And I know our neighbors from the pub want to speak to the parking, I'm guessing.
Not on everything.
Yeah.
Speak at this point.
Please do.
Like me. I love you all. Your dad is my favorite in the whole world.
So Penny and I just talked a little bit outside about the whole parking situation back there, and I think there are going to be some improvements in the near future for both sides. And we talked about not using the pub parking lot as a driving lane and different safety concerns, and the fact that the pub does have access to those 4 parking spots behind their business. But as I explained to them and explained to you, those are all things that they want to work around and make sure that we're working with our neighbors instead of against them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please
I have it
do.
figured out. I'm Penny and Mark from the pub. So a couple of things. I know we only have 3 minutes. I came in here and was not against, but I was almost afraid to speak because I knew if I was against it, I was going to be tortured up here. After hearing everything, your word is all you have, and I think it's a wonderful business. Being a bus driver, I love kids. I think it's a wonderful business, and I think we can do something with the parking. I know in the bylaws after 5 o'clock we have the parking, but we've been talking about repaving our
don't know, the fund needs some paving. I'm sure some of y'all probably popped their tires in there. And we'll get to it, but we're gonna repave, which also means we will restripe. We can work with them to even make more parking. We don't, after talking to them, we have no issues with that to help their business run too. It's New Pal, I'm not from here. We were gonna move to Tennessee. We chose to have our business here in New Pal. New Pal's growing. They're young. They need their business to grow as well. You're talking kids. I understand everybody drinks, and I'm so sorry for whatever you've endured with your fence and things like that. We can't help what other humans do. I mean, we just can't. And I hate that that's happened to you, but kids, and they're not even all over there. So for them to do that, for there to be an issue with the fences going down or things like that, I just, for me personally, I don't think that's anything.
That fix your problem.
I don't, I will tell you.
Traffic is a problem only during certain times of the day.
Yes, we've had nothing but problems with the school kids. The school kids barely went through our parking lot. We actually just talked to the attorney a second ago, to try to make it to where they use the road around. And because I feel like there's a lot of things that can be worked out in Kansas. You just have to try. But I think it's a wonderful, wonderful business. And if we give them an opportunity, then it's also going to grow New Pal, whether it's east or west. New Pal's going to grow. So you can have businesses like this that are wonderful, or you can have really crappy businesses. But ultimately, they're going to have.
Or maybe everybody that's wanting to open all the businesses, because buy everything and make it all business.
If I had money, I would.
And not
I'll tell ya,
have, and not have a commercial, not have a residential house.
But they are willing to, they're willing to make sure that those things are, it needs to work out. I mean, I truly believe that. Again, they're the words that they have, they're not serving alcohol. And so we're willing to help them grow their business as well with the parking spaces. And anyway, we can do that. We will.
Thank you very much.
Brittany wanted to speak about the RV and the trailer. Yeah, I just wanted to make one point about that. So my parents actually live in Minnesota. They live 9 hours away, and so when they come and visit to see our kids, they do take the RV and they take it to KOA. With that being said, right now, because it's not zoned or because it's not being used for events, we keep our trailers that we use to take our equipment and our dump trailer. We keep that behind the building because it's being used for storage. We also, like I said, keep the RV there because my parents use it whenever they come back. With that being said, we live in an HOA in New Pal, and we are not allowed to have our trailers. We're not allowed to have company vehicles, none of that in our neighborhood. And so prior to us purchasing the building in December, we have a spot, a parking lot, and our aunt's house who lives on 20 acres. We park all of our trailers and everything out at her house. Right now, for convenience, of course, we park it at the building because, when we're doing 5, 6, 7 events a day, at the end of the day, we just want to park it, go to our house that's 5 minutes away instead of having to drive it 20 minutes. Now, if it does get approved and we start holding events, then that's our solution. We're taking it right back to where it was prior to us having the building. So as far as losing spots for the trailers or the RV or, whatever the case is, it's not going to be a problem when we actually start hosting parties there.
Well, given that your parking's a premium, I can't imagine you're wanting to give it up for a trailer. So, okay, thank you. Listen, we're down to 6 minutes or so, and I think there's just a couple of things. One is we know there's a condition, Ted, on capacity, and tell me the time.
9 p.m. We're okay with sticking to 8 p.m. We'll make it work. We'll make it happen. But just to try to
Have that extra hour for people who work until 5 o'clock. And then they can show up at 6 and have 3 hours to have an event during the week. So Monday through Thursday.
Yeah, and I also just want to say, the other day I don't know if it was on the New Pop community page, but the other day there was a post on the New Pop community page from a Girl Scout troop, and they were looking for a small place to be able to have their meetings at, but I did notice that their meeting time was, I think, until 8:30, which would obviously fall after that 8 p.m. So those are like the types of like
meetings and things like that that we're trying to be able to accommodate.
Okay.
So it'd be Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, everything ends at 8 p.m.
Okay. Well, I'll reiterate that our job is to look at our 5 questions, as you know, and it's also look at the comprehensive plan from our town council. They're the boss, and we need to make sure that it fits within that. And given that we're going to build a town center and we're going to do many other things, and we talk about the guest list that you have at this point. It doesn't seem to me that that's in violation of anything. And if there's a parking situation, I'm confident you'll fix that, as your neighbors are that have the pub and so forth. If there's people going the wrong way, I'm sure that our police department will get that one fixed, and they just need to know there's people going the wrong way, as there is. But it was a good application. It covered A pretty much to Z, which doesn't happen all the time. And as a council, we don't meet that often, and I don't see the need for us to delay that, for us to figure out which way we want to go on this.
I would like to delay it and let's get together and come up with whatever conditions.
Ted, can we can do it though with the conditions, can't we?
You can approve it with a vote. I think we may need to modify the form anyway if they have the variance reasons on there, not the special exceptions reasons. We want to be correct whether you end up affirming or denying that the findings are solid. So
okay.
That's not to say you can't vote in favor or in denial of it tonight and then have another meeting to issue the order with the commitments.
Well, I feel as though there's a lot of people that came tonight to voice their opinions, and I would absolutely opt to vote, and then we can solidify the.
I would make, if you're going to vote then, and make the motion subject to the conditions that you would like. Yep.
Yes. How do you feel?
I would rather come up with the conditions and see if they agree with them.
Well, I don't think it matters. I don't mean that in a bad way, but the conditions are our conditions. It's not anyone else's conditions to do that. Correct, Ted?
That's correct. And if they don't sign them, then they don't get it.
That's correct. Yeah.
Well, I kind of want to wait for the reason that the other gentleman would probably be here and get the vote as well.
Well, I know what his is, but it only takes 3. Well, I'm going to make a motion that we approve it with the conditions of changing the time to 9 p.m. and changing the capacity constraint to be commensurate to what the fire marshal says that it is. Anybody want a second?
One more thing. About the parking situation, did we want to make that conditional thing as well?
They have enough parking now, so I think that they're going to work out some more, but they already have adequate parking for what it is.
Wonderful. Yep.
So again, that motion's out there.
And I'll second it.
Thank you. Any further discussion on it? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I'll say aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Last thing I want to say is that obviously these things can be emotional and so forth. This was a group that stuck to what we needed to look to and how we needed to approach it, and I'm proud of them for what they have. It's not, they will tell you that the BZA is never easy, and that's why you get all these people that come. There's never, as Ethan knows, there's never this many people that come to the town council meeting. So I appreciate what they just went through and their commitment to making New Palestine better. Thank you very much. All right, with that said, is there a motion to adjourn? Don't talk all at once.